This program brought to you by McDonald Jones, building homes in the Hunter for over 35 years.
Tonight, we celebrate 60 years of NBN television.
And being here at Honeysuckle 60 years ago, Newcastle was a far different city.
That's when NBN television began on March the 4th, 1962.
So tonight, we'd love to take you down memory lane.
To remember some of the people and the programs that helped make NBN what it is today.
Join us as we celebrate 60 years of NBN television.
The characters, the stories.
To say what's on your mind. We're with you, supporting every dream for you. NBN's team, we bring you through. NBN, we're with you.
News has always been a big part of NBN. On the day of its very first broadcast, Murray Finlay read the news that night at 6 o'clock.
This is Studio A at NBN. It was right here in this studio that Channel 3's first live program went to air. That program was the Channel 3 News.
There was no attempt to obtain a winning result, and that he therefore lost the benefit of the defendant's promise.
What made up the newsroom was not only the presenters on air, but it was the reporters who did the stories, the editors who cut the stories, the cameraman on the floor in the studio, through to everyone in the control room. It didn't happen without the input of all those people.
The atmosphere in the newsroom was volatile, as all newsrooms are. But then again, we were young and we played along with it and everybody got along. Learning to shoot film and news film was a process of osmosis. We learned from each other. The unfortunate part about that, perhaps, is the audience learned along with us.
There's action tonight on Channel 3.
Now the news.
I was never really nervous about having to read the news to hundreds of thousands of people.
No scripts?
No scripts indeed.
I think it was because I always considered that camera to be the person I was talking to.
The 3-year plan involves upgrading the existing line from Muswellbrook to Sandy Hollow.
Putting across that word picture to just one individual made it so much better. The very important thing was that we were involved with the region.
It's become a waiting game, waiting for the weather to clear on Barrington Tops. Earlier, the politicians were given a noisy reception when they arrived in Muswellbrook for the cabinet meeting.
People, were looking to us to find out what was happening in their own individual little corners of the Hunter region.
Today's demonstration clearly indicates that Singleton wants a new bridge.
Later on this afternoon, the show will be officially open, which will incorporate the Grand Parade.
At one stage, it was so hot that it would have been impossible to stand this close to the blaze.
Mr. Howard said the economy is by far the major election issue.
For those of you who have seen the movie Back to the Future, you realise that one of these, when fitted out properly, can travel through time.
We shot everything from flower shows to cat shows to strike meetings to floods to fires.
For the second time today, firemen in the Nelson Bay area have had to close a major road. Firstly, Nelson Bay and now Soldiers Point Road. We're right in the middle of it. I don't know how the firemen feel, but we're pretty scared.
We not only had to shoot it, light it and do sound, we also had to edit it, so we were very, very multi-skilled.
Violence that horrified a city erupted in the heart of Newcastle, and cameraman Barry Nancaro recorded what happened.
We arrived and parked just over the road from the pub. Camera, light on shoulder, battery over the side, across the road, and we come the cops. The petrol coming out of the tank was, to me, the essence of what a news cameraman was about, foreseeing. We thought this could turn sour very, very quickly, and it did. So you'll see a camera wobble. That's me trying to put safe distance between myself and the conflagration.
Good morning. Things are looking a little bit better for the board riders this morning.
NBN played a big part in so many different aspects of life in this area.
Everyone in the terrace is claiming to have coached you at one stage of the game.
The archive that exists of what NBN has shot is a chronicle of 60 years of our development across our viewing region. And we are telling the story of our time at that particular time.
Last night at Foster, a takeaway cafe was robbed.
And from the results of today's meetings at Curry and Singleton, further industrial action is imminent.
The launching of the $900,000 18-metre ferry represents the end of a battle for the retention of the Newcastle ferry service.
Scone has the self-dubbed title Home of the Thoroughbred, and it's easy to see why.
But just to make sure that this year's batch is as good as last year's, it's always wise to take a pre-sample.
Murray Finlay always reminded us of a quote from a famous American commentator that journalism is the first draft of history. And I think that's a wonderful description of NBN's role and commitment to our region in chronicling 60 years of what's happened right across our viewing area.
Matano could be the first in a long list of Navy contracts to be awarded to the Four Jacks dock.
And the Hunter, he says, is well placed to lead that recovery.
According to the Lord Mayor, the residents' protest against the dump has cost council around $500,000.
The 100 suppliers to the Singleton Dairy Cooperative are tossing around a number of major questions.
Even though it's snowing now, there's more rain forecast, and by tomorrow it could be gone.
Reading the nightly news was nerve-wracking to start with before we got Auto Cube.
Paul McNamee has won his first round in the 1983 Italian Open Championships.
I think I worked with every weatherman that has been at NBN, from the great Des Hart
for weather,
right through to Gavin Morris, and every leading lady from Anna Manzoni to Tracy Reid.
Well, that's the news for this Saturday.
To Chrissy Bath, to Mel Smith, and of course Natasha Beyersdorf, all part and parcel of that.
And we were all there for the same reason, to present and share the news every night.
NBN News is important in terms of creating inclusion in our community because we can show people what's happening around the region.
And what we believe has happened is that this ship has inadvertently let go its water ballast.
We had this huge ship that had washed ashore, but at the same time the city was flooding, and Michael Walker, cameraman, and I went out after 6 o'clock.
How did that end up there?
Speaking to people whose homes were going under.
The unique thing about NBN News is that we're part of the community. We're out there, we're at the games.
You know, turning up in our news car to do a story on, you know, your local football team is something that is a real privilege. I love that we can give people a voice and represent their interests. It doesn't matter who they are, and it's an absolute privilege to be able to help people in that way.
Compelling documentaries are also a part of the NBN story, which were large projects for a regional television station.
The winner is The Last Chance, NBN 3 Newcastle.
The Logie is a personal triumph for Jim Sullivan and Gunter Schmidt, who wrote and shot Last Chance, the story of a young offender being given a taste of jail life in Maitland Jail.
Our storytelling kept the public informed on the changing landscape of society.
The city of Newcastle was literally built from the windfall of the steelworks, and no one recognises that better than the men and women who worked there. Like the furnaces which once burned, it's part of history.
Stay with us coming up after the break.
The fun and magic of television, NBN style.
What an achievement. 60 years of television. Congratulations.
60 years in the hot seat of television. Well done, NBN.
Tonight in NBN News, Australia left reeling following the shock death of cricket legend Shane Warne. The clean-up continues for flood-affected communities in the Northern Rivers, and all the glitz and glamour from the 44th Sydney Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras at the SCG. For those stories and more, watch NBN News tonight at 6.
You win the record for the most clutter to come out of one home.
Is this the wake-up call she desperately needs? Space Invaders tonight.
1, 2, 3.
Terry White Chemmart is now administering all COVID-19 vaccines nationally. Book your vaccine of choice today to help us get back to the things we miss and love. Terry White Chemmart, that's real chemistry.
What's for dinner? Coles have over 100 delicious, easy What's for Dinner recipes for you to try. Made with 5 ingredients in 30 minutes or less. Discover more dinner inspiration at coles.com.au. Value the Australian way at Coles.
Welcome to New South Wales, a place to feel free, to feel alive, and most of all, to feel new again.
3, 2, 1, here we go! Live a life full of flavor, let your life take shape. Hey, flavor just for me. Hey, new
shapes, mini bites. Light crunch, big flavour.
Some see a personalised plate. We see a challenger. Someone who's not afraid to push themselves and the boundaries. More than a plate, it's an attitude to life. Create yours at myplates.com.au.
Hey Google, turn up the heat.
Volvo.
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale is on now. Shop and save up to 40% off a huge range of living, dining and bedroom furniture. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale. In store and online now.
Gavin Morris. Natasha Beyersdorf, your new 6 p.m. news team. Bringing you the stories from your local community that matter to you. NBN News, your only 7 days per week local news service. Nightly at 6.
"60 years of NBN television. The characters, the stories. Proudly brought to you by McDonald Jones, building homes in the Hunter for over 35 years.
Local production has always played a big part in the NBN story.
From children's television to telethons, NBN has been there for audiences of all ages.
I started in 1962, which is 60 years ago. And I was on a show called The Swallows Juniors. Because television was brand new. It had just gone to air. They'd opened the doors to Newcastle and the Hunter region, you know. Walking into a television studio in those days, wow, that was great. So, yes, the lights, the camera, action, oh boy.
I think that's you, Valerie, isn't it? Yes, it is. And there's
children's television was a huge part of NBN. Because we were I'm going to say a community station as well, and the relationship with the people in Newcastle and the Hunter was enormous.
Well, today, boys and girls, we're taking you on board a bus.
There was Junior World with Roy and Norman, educational programs like Looking In, High School Quiz. Big Dog first appeared on Big Dog and Friends on a Saturday morning.
Hello. Well, it's Saturday morning.
How are you?
And it's time for Big Dog and Friends. How are you, Big Dog?
And there were lots of other characters there as well.
1, 2, 3.
Big Dog was out there. He's been around in NBN for a long time, nearly as long as me.
I do be all day long.
And who could forget Art Ryan's Breakfast Club?
Queen Mother was 80 last night.
And, of course, Beating Around the Bush.
We're going to leave them tar and hit the track.
Beating Around the Bush was one of the highlights of my career, actually, shooting that. I had an absolute ball.
I'm Art, and he's Pete, and we're going to get a crocodile here. Right.
Incidental wildlife. That's what Beating Around the Bush was all about, but there was no such thing as incidental wildlife. So all we had to make do, and Beat brought along his collection of deadly taipans. At one stage, the snake got away, and it starts making a beeline for me. I said to Beat, "Hey, what do I do?" He said, "Just don't move, Barry." Right, thank you.
Come on, you land snail. Why do we chase it? Go around that tribal. What have you got there? Gee. Oh, that's prehistoric, my boy. Here's a little one I'd like you to meet. Oh, absolutely beautiful.
But it was a great experience, if you like, a defining moment in NBN's level of production, because they'd never undertaken anything as ambitious using local talent, such as Beat and Art.
The idea of having a morning lifestyle show started towards the end of 1988.
Great hour coming up, lots of exciting things.
This morning became Today Extra.
All this week we're featuring Lord Howe Island on Today Extra.
And it became the second longest running locally produced program, apart from the news, of course.
Yesterday you had the marvellous opportunity of doing some dolphin watching.
I'm really looking forward to AQUIP 2000. It is absolutely sensational.
I think it was a great honour to have worked with what I believe to be some of the most talented and dedicated people in the television industry, the people behind the scenes, the directors and the producers and the directors' assistants, the camera people and the audio and the lighting and the tape operators and the technicians, just so dedicated. And I think that always came to the fore when NBN did telethons, because the amount of work that people put in was absolutely outstanding.
Our viewing region would have to be one of the most generous ever seen, and sometimes in the toughest of times.
$3,805,251. It goes towards a great cause.
Coming up after the break.
NBN's outside broadcasts from rugby league
to royal visits.
What an achievement. 60 years of television. Congratulations.
The experts bite back.
If you want this relationship, suck it up.
Sunday at 7 on 9.
It's the final week of Amart Furniture's mid-season sale. Save big on a huge range across living, dining, lounges, bedroom and mattresses in-store or online. So, what are you waiting for? Amart Furniture. Sale ends Tuesday.
At Greater Bank, our home loan experts give customers greater advantages.
Like we visit you in your time and place. Our home loans have low rates and low fees, plus flexible repayment options.
To switch and save with us, you don't even have to talk to your current lender. Discover how we optimise home loans and why so many of our customers are ahead on theirs.
Talk with our home loan experts and gain your greater advantage with Greater Bank.
Get an extra powerful dose of intense hydration with OGX from Chemist Warehouse to help repair and strengthen hair. OGX Extra Strength Argan Oil of Morocco shampoo and conditioner, $10.49 each. Live, look, feel fabulous every day at Chemist Warehouse.
These M&M's brownie are really fudgy.
Yes, they
To
are.
put a brownie center inside an M&M's is
Genius. I know.
I was going to say hard.
Why
won't you go in?
M&M's brownie.
Please, sir, I want some more.
As nearly half the staff at Castle live with a disability, we know some of the obstacles thrown your way. Embrace your otherness. We're here to support you, find a job, or live more independently.
Out on the patio, we'd sit, and the humidity we'd breathe. We'd watch the lightning crack over cane fields, laugh and think, this is Australia.
Colorbond, made by Australia.
Wake up with Today, Australia's best breakfast show on 9. 60 years of NBN television. The characters, the stories. Proudly brought to you by McDonald Jones, building homes in the Hunter for over 35 years.
Sports coverage has always been a huge part of our involvement in the region. NBN started outside broadcasts in the mid-60s, first hiring equipment from Channel 9 to cover local competitions. Heavy equipment was hoisted up onto scaffold for the best camera and commentary positions.
Sport is top on Channel 3.
Live sport was very popular, and it wasn't long before NBN had its own broadcast truck.
Very significant event for television in Newcastle.
First in black and white.
Here on the left-hand side of the field, centres. Just to...
Then colour in 1975. Covering events of all types, including surfboat racing, demolition derbies.
There are bewildered drivers staring in all directions.
Sailing on Lake Macquarie, 10-pin bowling, golf, baseball and show jumping.
Difficult jump.
Rugby league played an enormous part in the genre of NBN. You know, who can forget 1970? Noel Harrison calling the grand final here at the number 1 sports ground. 20-odd thousand people, all the kids were inside the ground here at the number 1 sports ground. 1979, David Fordham, our chief caller, ended up in hospital, and our production manager then, who worked with Reg Stavers, who was the director, was called on to call the grand final, and that was Jeff Pine, and he did a fantastic job.
Olsen to McKinnon, and this guy goes for the corner, he scored!
And I remember 1987.
Good afternoon, everybody, from Newcastle's number 1 sports ground. I'm Lee Warne. This is the grand final of the NBN Newcastle Herald Premiership.
It was the grand final of the local competition before the night started in the National Rugby League. A young Paul Harrigan scoring a try.
Got away with the big number 4, Harrigan. Harrigan's gone hard at the line and has
Has he scored the try? Certainly has, referee.
And this is the place where it all happened.
And the Seagulls laid an egg.
And the Silver Fox was a character, and he was great mates with Darryl Eastlake. And there was one particular race, the Fox could not get his tongue around one particular horse.
Race 2, the Tea Rose Stakes. A very good race, this. Number 13, Goldsmith. I can't get this. Race 5 was the STC Cup. I'm having a terrible time here.
The horse's name is Gelsomino, if anyone's seen it. Darryl was sitting beside me, and because he was laughing, I started laughing. I just couldn't finish it.
Pardon me.
So I said, go to a break, go to a break. That was it.
The top Newcastle galloper, Luskin Star.
I worked with a genius, actually, David Fordham. Natasha, he was brilliant.
Hello and welcome from David Fordham to the International Sports Centre in Newcastle for the big rugby clash between the touring New Zealand All Blacks opposed to New South Wales country.
Then you got blokes like Rabs, you know, he used to call the Falcon.
The National Basketball League was a great telecast. We'd turn up after the Rugby League, so it'd be a hurried setup and the game would be on.
Johnson, that's 3-point position.
Oh, yeah! That's tenacity. That's the point. Now it's Ian Rebellion. Oh, yes! Oh! Heart attack material.
Slams it off the top for a vertical re-entry.
Surfaced absolutely enveloped NBN.
Rows of tents, towers and TV scaffolding certainly have Newcastle Beach looking the part as host to the world's richest surfing tournament.
And it was NBN's ability to be able to sell the concept of a surfing event that enabled us to get it off the ground.
Up off the lip, just so easy.
6 hours of live coverage on the final weekend.
Certainly a nice surfboard rider, isn't he, mate?
It was a big deal, and it really involved just about everybody in the station. Even the name Surfest comes from NBN.
Oh, this could be a great way.
It drew massive crowds to Newcastle Beach, and then as people warmed to the idea of the live coverage, they'd watch the final weekend on NBN.
It's easily one of the greatest contests I've ever been in.
A lot of people ask me what's the favourite thing that I've ever worked on NBN, and I very, very quickly say the Knights Parade of 1997. It was 2 hours of absolute mayhem. We were flying by the seat of our pants.
Well, the crowd are going absolutely bonkers here.
It started at Jasmine at the shopping centre.
Here's Stockland Mall, and this is just amazing.
Worked its way into Newcastle, down King Street into Civic Park. Who knows what the figure was, but some people say it was up to 100,000.
It must be a very emotional time for you two.
Incredible, unbelievable, it's fantastic.
Everyone at NBN was involved in some way or another. Unbelievable, Ray. Absolutely incredible, isn't it? It was a real marvellous community atmosphere.
I was there as a kid in Civic Park in 1997 when the Knights lifted that trophy aloft, and it was amazing.
To the Optus Cup champions of 1997.
You know, I saw Mike for a bit there, and then I got to work with him, so that was a pinch me moment.
That was an NBN production, something that NBN can be really, really proud of. It was absolutely fantastic. And the awards nights, including the local Rugby League Player of the Year awards.
The winner of the NBN 2HD Cardiff Toyota Player of the Year for 1983, Stephen Lippiett.
The Sports Star of the Year awards.
Mark Sargent.
Often broadcast live from the Newcastle Town Hall, the Belmont 16-footers, or indeed the NBN studio.
Welcome to our viewers right throughout northern New South Wales, from the Hawkesbury to Southport, right out to Lightning Ridge.
Growing up, I'd played a range of different sports: football, golf, touch football, tennis, you know, you name it, I was pretty much playing it. So it was great to see the locals on your own station in Newcastle. And I feel like sometimes the most special relationships we build are with the local clubs, because we do so many special things, and it just shows that we're still a huge part of the community and still a huge part of what they want to achieve.
Congratulations, 9NBN, on 60 great years.
Tonight in NBN News, tragedy grips the cricket world following the sudden death of Shane Warne, the 52-year-old believed to have succumbed to a heart attack. Clean-up efforts continue on the north coast as floodwaters start to recede. The world reacts to Vladimir Putin's latest move 24 hours after Russian forces attacked one of Europe's biggest power stations. And all the highlights from the 44th Mardi Gras in Sydney. We'll have those stories plus your local weather tonight at 6.
Mayday, mayday, we've lost both engines.
Tom Hanks in the untold true story.
This is the captain. Brace for impact.
Sully, tonight, 8:30 on 9.
Thank you so much. Yeah, can't wait. Okay, bye.
Mum?
Yeah?
Hey, Mum. What's Plus Super?
Why?
Well, that job that I applied for, I got it. 45k plus
What?
super. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Make the most of your super moment with Australia's largest, most trusted super fund. It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours.
Don't tell Grandad, but he was right. I've overcooked these steaks.
I'm always right, son. I thought you'd know that by now.
Dad, how on earth did you hear that?
Have you heard of Amplifon?
At Amplifon, experience our range of the latest technology, including hearing aids so small they're almost invisible, like the Ampli Mini, exclusive to Amplifon. Try it for free for 14 days and enjoy our exclusive Hearing Month offers at unmissable prices until March 31. Call 13MyEars to book an appointment today.
New from the Lindt Master Chocolatier. Made to melt you. Lindor Milk Salted Caramel by Lindt.
Hey, mate. No, I can't make it. Heaps busy. Yeah. See ya.
Fantastic furniture. Find your fantastic.
I know you say only you can drive your car, but you can't expect me to buy my own car. And PD Insurance gave you such a good price. Maybe I should get a job.
Go to pd.com.au to get your quote.
Studio lunch.
Yes,
And
thank
how
you,
about
Mum.
you?
Yes, I've got my banking and super details. Thank you. Thank you.
Make the most of your super moment. Start your first day with a top-performing super fund. It's Australian, it's super, and it's yours.
"60 years of NBN television. The characters, the stories. Proudly brought to you by McDonald Jones, building homes in the Hunter for over 35 years.
Congratulations, 9NBN, on 60 fabulous years. Happy birthday.
NBN was always involved in covering civic events, and the Matara Parade was always a firm favourite with the viewers.
Welcome to our live coverage of the Matara procession for 1976. Our cameras are positioned in Hunter Street.
There were lots of those sort of individual types of things that NBN was there to cover.
It looks like cyclonic slops. The raft boat that was built in Darwin's going to get the lead.
Very rough water there.
That's what made the people of the region really love NBN. It was their station because it gave them local things of interest.
Here's the Queen in apricot frock and hat, more formal, but nevertheless smiling and waving as she comes past.
What did you think of the Queen?
I think she's wonderful.
What did the Duke say?
Oh, he asked me what school I was captain of.
What do you think of the Princess?
She's nice and beautiful.
We weren't just involved with news bulletins, but in outside broadcasts such as the visit in 1983 at Charles and Di. There were thousands of school children at the then International Sports Centre.
We both of us appreciate that this is a special gathering of so many children from all over the Hunter region.
But also the Queen, who came in the bicentennial year 1988.
May the 7th was a very special day for Newcastle. It was the day that Queen Elizabeth II visited.
And the Britannia parked in Newcastle Harbour, and she went into the centre of town, Queen's Wharf, as a matter of fact, appropriately, and it was quite an occasion. NBN was there to cover it all.
The community loves NBN. It's such an important part of this region. If you go back through the old films, it doesn't just tell you about floods and fires, but also about what people thought, what made them tick, and what sort of life they led. The people want to know what's going on in their own backyard. They want to be informed. And we can do that. We represent the community's interests and we tell the real story.
Keep the good times happening. NBN, we're with you. NBN, we're
For me, growing up watching NBN News, I cannot imagine not having it. It was part of the way that I grew up.
We give a voice to the regional areas. We show sports that wouldn't be covered unless it was for a regional news service like NBN News.
And I'm very proud of what we do in assisting the development of that real sense of community.
So it's congratulations to NBN.
Well done, and congratulations to NBN and all those associated with its 60-year history.
What an achievement. 60 years of television. Congratulations.
NBN, congratulations to you, and congratulations to everyone who has had the opportunity of working with this great organisation. Happy birthday, NBN.
60 years of television. Whether you knew us as Channel 3,
NBN News,
or Nine's NBN.
Chances are you've grown up with us over the past 60 years.
We're all locals, bringing you the stories that matter every day.
And we're so excited to take you to the next chapter of NBN News.
Thank you for celebrating 60 years of NBN television.
Stay with us for your weekend news bulletin with Jane Goldsmith.
And we'll see you Monday night at 6. Good night.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you.
NBN, happy birthday. Good on you.
Happy birthday to you. Hip hip. Hip hip.
Tonight, a sporting nation in mourning. Shane Warne, the loss felt from the MCG to Lords and everywhere in between. Dominic Perrottet tries to turn the tide for flood-stricken Lismore. Russia's next move, the frightening new intelligence on Putin's plan in Ukraine. And disappointment for the Jets up against Western United.
This is NBN News.
Good evening. The nation is reeling tonight after the shock death of Shane Warne, the best spin bowler cricket has ever seen. But Warne was more than that. The father of three was a showman, a larrikin and an Australian icon. On a wellness retreat in Thailand, he was found dead in his room. He was just 52.
A superstar in the game of cricket.
Got him. Clean bowled him.
The end was more like a Hollywood tragedy. Shane Warne, the man who thrilled millions, alone, unresponsive in an island villa, a world away from any cricket ground. When we arrived, this ambulance officer said we saw the victim lying on the lower floor. Police on the island of Koh Samui were called to the Samajana villas at around 5 o'clock yesterday afternoon after one of Warne's friends knocked on his door.
He went in there and said, "Come on, we're late, you're going to be late." And then realised that something was wrong and turned him over, gave him CPR mouth to mouth. That lasted about 20 minutes.
But he could not be saved. At 1 a.m. East Coast time, the statement which rebounded around the globe. It is with great sadness we advise that Shane Keith Warne passed away of a suspected heart attack in Koh Samui, Thailand, today, Friday, 4th of March. Shane was found unresponsive in his villa, and despite the best efforts of medical staff, he could not be revived. A tragedy which left the cricket world reeling.
Tough day for everyone all around the globe. We've lost a true hero, legend and icon of the game in Shane Warne.
They pressed pause on an historic test match in Pakistan as the Australian cricket captain faced up to one of the sport's darkest days.
The loss that we're all trying to wrap our heads around is huge. We all grew up watching Warne, idolising him. We all had posters on his wall, had his earrings.
At 52, the king of spin dead. And his fans in mourning.
I woke up and I couldn't believe it. I was in shock.
They descended on Warne's second home, the MCG, the scene of Boxing Day heroics, a hat-trick, and now a stand in his name.
We will be renaming the Great Southern Stand, the SK Warne Stand, and we'll be doing that as soon as we possibly can.
That will go with his statue, today a shrine for cricket lovers who were hit for six.
Saw it early in the morning, really early. So I haven't been asleep. Yeah.
Just 4 days ago, Warne announced on Instagram he was on a health kick. Operation Shred had started. The goal by July is to get back to this shape from a few years ago. And that's why he was in Thailand at this wellness retreat. 2 days ago, he posted, "Good night from Koh Samui." His last message on social media yesterday, Warne remembering another cricketing great, Rod Marsh, who died the same way. Rod cared deeply about cricket and gave so much, especially to Australia and England players. R.I.P. mate. Today it was cricket royalty lining up to honour the greatest ever spin bowler.
I just loved him. I really loved the fact that I knew this guy as a slow bowler, but also as a character in the game and as a mate.
One Test captain after another. Hard to put this into words. I first met him when I was 15 at the academy. He gave me my nickname, the greatest bowler I ever played with or against.
Just something about him that, is engaging, he just gets you talking and you just like him straight away.
Michael Clarke was not just a teammate, but best friend. King, he called him, and this is so unfair, R.I.P. buddy.
I think Warne's the best bowler there's ever been. Not too many players lasted 5 hours against our attack with Warne in it.
And with Glenn McGrath at the other end, it spelt Australian dominance. There never seems to be a dull moment. He was a great mate and a loving father.
The highlight of my cricketing career was to wicket-keep to Shane Warne.
Merv Hughes, I simply don't have the words. And a salute from a Prime Minister in isolation.
A good mate, a dad and a fellow Australian. Rest in peace, Shane Warne. Thanks, mate.
And back where it all began as an 11-year-old, Shane Warne, the Sandringham Junior who played for St Kilda. Today, black armbands and a minute's silence for a suburban leg spinner who mesmerised the cricketing world.
He was always had time for everyone. Lovely bloke, he was a larrikin, but everyone loved him.
There were more tributes at the Sydney Cricket Ground where Warne's Test career began, long before these young fans were born.
I was at the Sydney Ashes Test and I got a fist bump from Shane Warne.
Shane Warne's family has said they're in shock and in need of privacy. Foreign Affairs officials are now en route to the island of Koh Samui to assist in the repatriation of his body. It's hoped the father of three will be home in a matter of days. And then will begin the official farewell to a cricketer whose passing was as unexpected as any ball he ever bowled. Damien Ryan, NBN News.
From the MCG to Lords and every oval in between, the king of spin reigned supreme. Shane Warne found friends in Hollywood, among royalty and on stage. And even his rivals couldn't help but love him.
It was the ball that announced the name Shane Keith Warne to the United Kingdom.
And he's done it.
English legend Mike Gadding bamboozled.
He always said to me, he said, "Thanks, mate, for missing it." I said, "I didn't mean to, I can assure you."
The ball of the century was the birth of a legend.
And obviously as a kid growing up was a massive idol of mine, someone you wanted to emulate the way he could win a game on his own.
The English playing a warm-up match in Antigua, West Indies. The team stopping mid-match for a minute's silence when news of Warnie's death broke.
I'm afraid we have some devastating, tragic news. Arguably the greatest spin bowler in cricket history, Shane Warne, has died at the age of 52.
Warnie was treated as royalty in Britain, especially as a cricketing prince who stole an English princess. His relationship with actress Liz Hurley, a dream for the press.
When will you be seeing Shane, Liz?
Proposing on James Packer's boat with a $60,000 sapphire ring. The couple never made it the distance.
And it was the happiest time of my life. I was madly in love with Elizabeth and we're still friends now.
Warnie's leg breaks were one thing, but his tsunami of character drew some of the world's biggest names into his orbit. Today, from Ed Sheeran, the world keeps taking incredible people away. I'll bloody miss you, mate. Absolutely gutted. A cricket-mad Rolling Stone, Mick Jagger, I'm so saddened. He brought such joy to the game and was the greatest spin bowler ever. His star power was incredible.
Australian rules football, that's all I ever wanted to do as a kid.
I know.
Right? Yeah,
so your life, in a sense, has been a failure.
A close friendship with Chris Martin of Coldplay. Warne even played the harmonica with them at a stadium show. From Russell Crowe, having a hard time accepting it. Genius player, grand company, loyal friend. Sir Elton John. Shane was a magical bowler and such huge fun. Kylie Minogue. Valet Warne, the one and only king of spin. Even Fergie, the Duchess of York. I'm so sad to hear about Shane Warne.
He was an immense character. And talk about rock and roll. He knew everybody. You know, people say, "Oh, I've got his number here. I'll give him a ring." Male or female, he had the lot.
Just like in Australia, throughout the cricketing world, it was pure disbelief. From India, Sachin Tendulkar, shocked, stunned and miserable. Virat Kohli, I cannot process the passing of this great of our sport, greatest to turn the cricket ball. The West Indies, Sir Viv Richards. There are no words to describe what I feel right now, a huge loss for cricket. Brian Lara, I literally don't know how to sum up this situation. My friend is gone. Pakistan, Wasim Akram, I am shocked and extremely sad to hear about the sudden death of my friend Warne. Waqar Younis, the biggest superstar of my generation, gone. Goodbye, legend.
It hasn't sunk in, to be honest, and I don't think it's going to sink in for quite some time.
Then there was his spin bowling nemesis, the only man to take more test wickets than Warne, Murali from Sri Lanka.
I was asking the people, is it true or it's fake news? So that kind of a thing, and it was shocking. The world is going to miss him because the cricket fraternity. So very sad.
Warne was enemy number one for the Barmy Army, with sledges like he's fat, he's round, he bounces on the ground. Today the Pommy supporters simply said, we only wished he was English.
A man who, had such vitality and full of energy and life. I was totally stunned. I don't think I'd ever been more shocked in my life.
England is a country Shane Warne loved, and it's clear it loved him back. A solitary candle left outside Lord's on a day when it felt like the world stopped spinning. In London, Mark Burrows, NBN News.
It's unlikely we'll ever see another sporting figure quite like Shane Warne. While his cricket record speaks for itself, his career was punctuated by controversies. Invariably, he'd bounce back. Support from the Australian public unwavering. Tony Jones looks back on an extraordinary career.
It's 1992, and who could have imagined this chubby bowler from the Bayside suburbs would become one of the greatest cricketers in the game's history?
I just feel very proud, and it's just a privilege to play. But, I didn't never really expect to play.
The cap might not have been the best of fits, but Shane Warne would comfortably go on to wear it in 145 tests. The first against India at the SCG, a less than glorious debut, taking 1 for 150.
You don't realise how much it is, till you've actually gone through it, how nerve-wracking it is and what it actually feels like. It's a tremendous feeling.
It wasn't until the following summer, when Warne stepped onto the MCG for the Boxing Day test against the West Indies, that he would truly announce himself as a future star. 7 for 52.
And there it is, a great victory for Australia and a tremendous day's work for Shane Warne.
Having had a taste of the adulation and the newfound fame, there would be no turning back.
There we go. Fleming took the last one. Merv Hughes before him. Yes! Oh, he's got him! It's a quality. Yes, he has. He's got him. It's a hat-trick. Yes, he's gone. He's gone. It's a hat-trick. That's a hat-trick to Shane Warne. A great moment in his career.
He was like a magician, and we were mesmerised by his trickery.
All of our coaching things that we do in Victoria, the easiest way to do it is all we do is you have 2 fingers down, 2 up, and you sort of put the ball in there. And that's how you... It's a bit bigger than normal, but that's the basic sort of grip.
But stardom brings scrutiny, and few sportsmen have achieved such greatness or generated such controversy. He lived in a fishbowl, and at times the waters got very murky.
I've got nothing to say, thank you.
His cricket made him a back page regular. His antics off the field gave him his quota of front pages, while some were mere mishaps, Texting, smoking and general yahooing, other controversies were far more serious, career-threatening. In 1995, he and Mark Waugh faced the media amid revelations they'd passed on pitch and weather conditions to an illegal bookmaker 3 years earlier.
I deeply regret this action off the field and wish to state that playing for Australia is the greatest honour I've had in my cricketing career.
8 years later, Warne was sent home from South Africa having returned a positive drugs test. He'd taken a diuretic in a bid to lose weight, an error of judgment that would see him banned from the game for a year.
Absolutely devastated.
Few thought Shane Warne was an actual drug cheat, and although his reputation did take a battering, he set about repairing it once the ban had expired.
I think, like anything, when it's taken away from you from 12 months, you realise how much you miss it.
His comeback series was against Sri Lanka. In 3 tests, he took 26 wickets, including 2 10-wicket hauls. Warne was back. He was again rewriting history. But off the field, more trouble loomed, this time marital problems. In June of 2005, Warne split with wife Simone.
We've just got to work out what we both want and which way we're going to go.
They had 3 young children, Warne dedicating whatever time he had to them. There was a true insight into his parenting in this doc. On a summer's night in 1999, he turned peacemaker when the MCG crowd turned feral.
It's very sad.
It'll be very sad if the game doesn't go on.
In the years leading up to his retirement, at the end of the 06-07 Ashes series, he continued to chalk up the milestones.
Bowled him this time.
Even when he did leave the Test arena for the final time, Warne wasn't completely lost to the game. He was brought in to captain the Melbourne Stars in the Big Bash. Mic'd up, he took us into his office.
You might be trying to shake a sweet.
Genius. There was the odd occasion, however, when he flipped his lid.
Grab some more people.
It stood to reason that Warne's wit, wisdom and general charm would draw him to the commentary box.
You do mean Greggy yourself.
I don't mind. Well, here we go. Yes, want to see Tuesday.
From Nine's Wide World of Sports to Sky Sports in the UK and Fox Sports here in Australia. In a media sense, Warne was a wanted man, from head to toe.
There's only one thing that really worries me, and that's hair loss.
He even had his own night show. His mates were his guests.
Warne, I don't have to say this, but you were probably his favourite. He thought the world of you, as so many people do.
Warne's TV show reel also included a stint on Kath and Kim.
Was that a flipper? Yeah. Sorry I'm late. I've been practising a bit of cricket as a surprise for you, Sharon.
Shane Warne was a once-in-a-lifetime cricketer, and having endured a string of controversies, he had no time for political correctness. It denied him the one box he so desperately wanted to tick, captaining his country. For all his fame and fortune, Warne remained a man of the people, and we, the people, couldn't get enough of him.
Got him! There it is! Wicket number 700! And they can't catch him!
I liked loud music, I was smoked, I drank, and I bowled a bit of leg spin, you know, that was sort of me.
To other news now, and the flooded Northern Rivers town of Coraki is now moving into the clean-up phase, with the town's roads beginning to open up. While some residents have started the painstaking work, others are still waiting for the water to recede.
Coraki, no longer cut off, but resilient and resourceful. Its people rallying together while isolated.
But the community, we all chucked in all our stuff out of the cupboards and we all just survived off everyone.
The town is known as the Meeting of the Waters, and after 6 days as an island, it's once again accessible by road. Generators and white goods arriving on trucks from Newcastle, a relief for volunteers supporting the stranded.
We can't even think in long terms at the moment. We have to go day by day because it's heartbreaking and we need to just take a step at a time.
Supplies, food and water all needed. Donations rolling in from far and wide for those still waiting for the water to recede.
I can just imagine how hard it is for them because the water's still up so high. All they can do is just watch and pretty much just wait until they can get in. So that'd be the hard part, just waiting, knowing that what you've got to do.
Where the water has gone down, it's all hands on deck. At 88-year-old Margaret Williams' house, family are trying to salvage what they can.
Crystal was Mum and Dad's wedding presents.
Reinforcements have arrived in Coraki as 4 trucks with defence personnel roll into town. They're wasting no time getting stuck straight into it.
Well, there's heaps of people here now. It's come good now, but we were quite a few days
pretty bad. So we had every boat in the town that we could out helping.
To keep spirits high, the bottom pub is open, serving through the window. They just need to start up the generator if you want to pay on card. Gracie Richter, NBN News.
River levels have significantly risen in the Hunter overnight, with the Bureau warning we could expect more in the days ahead. Live now to Claudia Vradoljak. Claudia, what's expected?
Well, Jane, while the rain has settled here and the sun is shining, thunderstorms and heavy rain are predicted from tomorrow evening. On the coast here, the surf is rough. A warning currently in place. Minor to moderate flood warnings remain inland for the Hunter, particularly the Patterson and Williams River. There's concern there that heavy rain early next week will see those river levels rise again. So the message from authorities is to be vigilant.
It isn't the site SES volunteers hope to come home to after spending the last 5 days deployed in Ballina.
Got back late last night and then back into it early this morning with just a few hours sleep to help our local community to keep everyone down here safe.
Rising rivers wreaked havoc in Raymond Terrace, blocking roads and cutting access to properties.
So just before 5 o'clock this morning, we were called out to a flood rescue along New Line Road for about 20 to 30 horses that were stranded on a mound and 2 or 3 people with rising floodwaters quite rapidly.
Sent out to help a family in need before the break of day.
They went out there to go help take care of the horses and try to get them off, but had left it a little bit too late. So that they were sort of stuck out there with rising floodwaters around them at quite late at night. I believe they were there overnight.
Elsewhere, volunteers on standby have suffered a setback as thieves broke the locks of Nobby Surf Lifesaving Club's boat sheds last night, taking off with rescue gear, a motor that would help ferry those stranded to safety.
And unfortunately, that was the only motor that wasn't chained up at Nobby's, that was set on the boat ready to go if we were tasked in the middle of the night.
The culprit urged to hand the motor back as police investigate the robbery.
There's never a good time to steal from a surf club with rescue gear, but at the moment when the state's going floods all up and down the coast and someone just steals our motor, it's just ridiculous.
Claudia Vradoljak, NBN News.
COVID cases for the Hunter New England remain steady, with 1,152 new infections recorded overnight. Sadly, the district has had 1 death, a man in his 60s from Lake Macquarie. 19 people are in hospital, with 1 in intensive care. Opposition to the development of Newcastle's ocean baths has reached new heights. A group has sent an urgent application to New South Wales Heritage, asking it to stop council from pouring 1.5 tonnes of concrete slab.
Our baths provides a unique habitat for the fragile marine ecology. Putting in a sterile concrete slab has a significant risk of destroying that unique heritage of our pool.
City of Newcastle has told NBN News the sandy floor will be retained. Works are set to start in a week's time. Long considered a chronic and life-threatening condition, a vibrant van is travelling through New South Wales to prove the future is bright for hepatitis C sufferers. Dixon Park Beach has been the first stop for the eye-catching mural, promoting the fact modern medicine can help cure up to 98% of people with the condition. The state is on track to eliminate the virus by 2030, but prevention and testing is vital. The Newcastle show is forging ahead despite a few hiccups caused by the wet weather. Thousands have packed into the showground for the 3-day event, celebrating an incredible 120 years.
While there are no horses this year,
there's a question of safety on the ground. It's still too wet.
The camel racing has proven a showstopper. Large crowds packing in to the Newcastle show as the rain cleared just in time.
On Thursday, who would have known? And things have come good.
From vintage cars to wild stunts. There were plenty of thrills, and if there's ever a thing as too much fun.
Well, I went on this ride and almost passed out.
An event with many gems and treats to everyone's tastes.
So this is the size you'd make at home, but when we go to compete, we want something that looks more like this.
What's your favourite thing about the Newcastle show?
So far this.
Just getting out and about with the kids and, enjoying the food delights so far.
Thousands are expected to walk through the gates this year, many coming out as winners, though this reporter was not so lucky. Claudia Radoljak, NBN News.
Warm and humid today in Newcastle with a top of 26 degrees. You're watching NBN News. Still ahead, tributes for Shane Warne. We're live from the MCG. And bombarding cities into submission, fresh fears over what Russia plans to do next.
Woke up this morning.
I'm with one.
I suddenly realized we're all.
I just got my first one.
Like nearly 5 million others, you too could be better off with a super fund run for you. Just look for the symbol.
Sultana brand. High in fibre so families can get up and go and take on every full-on day. Sultana brand. Full-on days start with full-on fibre. Now available in gluten-free.
Looking for a beach house or a tree house? With more properties for sale than anywhere else, we make it easier. Realestate.com.au, Australia's #1 address in property.
Here you go, beautiful. Excuse me.
It's good to have another look. For 2 designer pairs, no gap. Should have gone to Specsavers.
This is a smart SUV. The design is sharp and the technology genius. But the really smart feature is the driver. Someone savvy enough to demand more and get it. Haval Jolyon. Smart move.
At Nick Scali, save 40% on the Barbuda 3-seater recliner with electric headrest and footrest. Was $49.90, now $29.90. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale, on now.
Harvey Norman, the experts in work and study. Save $100 on this reliable Acer Aspire 3 laptop, now $448. Thoughtfully designed for the planet, the powerful Acer Aspire Vero, only $798, save $300. This sleek HP 15S laptop is a portable powerhouse with great battery life, only $1,198. Or get double the RAM and storage in this HP model, now only $1,398. We've got your tech covered, now at Harvey Norman.
Wake up to sleep at 40 Wink's Certerific sale. For 1 week only, get up to 50% off Certa mattresses. That's right, up to 50% off Certa mattresses. But hurry, the Certerific sale ends this Sunday. Terms and conditions apply. 40 Winks, serious about sleep.
I can read your future with your twirl.
It says you're gonna find true love. Aw. I'm already married.
Yeah, but like soulmates.
Twirl, your future's in the swells and curls.
Whatever your claim, big or small, we're on to it. Yui, you insured.
Shane Warne entertained crowds in stadiums right across the world, and the MCG witnessed more than its fair share of his greatest moments. Reid Butler is there for us tonight. Reid, the board has decided to afford Warne a very special honour.
And Jane, for Warne, there could be no greater honour. He's going to be immortalised here at the MCG, essentially become part of the stadium that played host to so many of his most memorable moments. The Great Southern Stand behind me with close to 50,000 seats for spectators will be no more, and it will now forever be known as the SK Warne Stand. This change is likely to happen in the coming days and really is a tremendous honour. Outside the stadium, there are floral tributes continuing to grow at the Shane Warne statue out there. Beautiful flowers and cards, as well as the occasional can of VB and slice of pizza and even the odd pack or two of cigarettes, all very Warne and all helping bring a little smile to the face of the very sad fans who've gathered here today. The Victorian Premier Daniel Andrews has offered the Warne family a state funeral, and that funeral could very likely be held here at the MCG, and that would be very fitting. One final showing for the champion that made this stadium his own. Jane?
Certainly a fitting tribute, Reid. Thank you. 24 hours after a nuclear disaster was narrowly avoided in Ukraine, there's a warning Russian forces may be planning to increase their attacks on major cities. It's been 10 days since Vladimir Putin's invasion began, and he's showing no signs of slowing.
As the smoke clears from what could have been global disaster. An alarming look at just how close it came. This, damage from heavy weapons at Europe's largest nuclear plant. A hole burnt right through the corridor between reactors. Inside, terrified workers pleading with Russian forces to stop firing. Warning the troops, you are endangering the safety of the entire world.
It is for the first time in our history that the terrorist state turned to nuclear terrorism.
With Russians now in control at Zaporizhzhia, staff say they're carrying out their roles at gunpoint. The Ukrainian energy minister speaking to 9 News from a bunker in the capital.
That staff is surrounded by Russian militaries. What they're doing has no explanation.
No radioactive material was released, a nuclear near miss.
We have survived the night that could have stopped the history of Ukraine and Europe.
The UN Security Council holding an emergency meeting where, with the world watching, Russia's ambassador denied its involvement.
We have once again heard lies about how Russian troops attacked the Zaporizhzhia nuclear power plant.
The American embassy in Ukraine has called the attack a war crime.
If we allow those principles to be violated with impunity, then we're opening a Pandora's box.
The US stopping short of military engagement.
The only way to actually implement something like a no-fly zone is to send NATO planes into Ukrainian airspace and to shoot down Russian planes, and that could lead to a full-fledged war.
Vladimir Putin making his own statement, telling his neighbours he has no bad intentions towards them.
And I would also advise them not to escalate the situation.
But on his biggest neighbour, another day of relentless attacks. The gunfire constant and indiscriminate. A Sky News team filmed as they were ambushed by militants.
Journalist! Stop!
They somehow escaped with their lives. But on Russian television, a different picture. Here, troops deliver humanitarian aid. The message working on many at home.
Да, Киев никто не бомбит, я этому не верю.
Путин такого не мог сделать. Напасть на Украину, тем более.
Moscow's Department of Education releasing a video painting NATO as the aggressor.
Мы поговорим о событиях на Украине.
Access to information getting harder by the day. Twitter and Facebook have now been banned shortly after the Kremlin introduced a 15-year jail sentence for spreading so-called false information. This independent TV station shutting down, its entire staff resigning on air. The station playing Swan Lake, the same ballet broadcast on state TV during the fall of the Soviet Union. International news, including the BBC, also blocked, the network choosing to close down its Russia bureau, fearing for the safety of its staff. But as foreign news is shut out of Russia, foreign fighters are coming in to Ukraine.
So this will be the front lines.
US soldier David Breimer is one of many international fighters arriving in Lviv to help train young Ukrainians heading into battle.
Whatever happens, we will be prepared as we possibly can be, and we will be here until it's over.
The terrain here has shifted. Their resolve has not.
So that's another air raid siren. A warning for everyone to get inside and underground, so I'm going to go and find a bunker.
Even here, the threat of Russian reconnaissance or attack is ever present. The city's historic monuments tightly wrapped to protect them from explosions. Ukraine's culture under threat, its people refusing to fall.
Thank you, we will win.
Amelia Adams, NBN News.
ISIS has claimed responsibility for a suicide bomb attack on a mosque in Pakistan that killed at least 56 people. More than 190 others were injured in the blast who had gathered there for Friday prayers. The violence unfolding only 2 hours away from Rawalpindi, where the Australian cricket team is playing their first test match on Pakistani soil in 24 years. Visiting flood-affected parts of northern New South Wales, the Premier admitted pictures do not do justice to the catastrophic level of damage he saw firsthand. The tour came as rescue crews finally made it to some of the most isolated areas.
A farmstead turned island, nearby isolated towns barely above water, as Dominic Perrottet walks the streets of Lismore. Generators and pumps singing out on nearly every street and alleyway as our state's leader navigates ground zero of New South Wales' latest disaster. Footpaths filled, what was once inside these shops now destined for the tip. The destiny of the town a little less clear.
Steve today, who runs a local bakery, he was thinking of not opening after the 2017 flood. He's then put everything back into it again, and now he's lost it all.
1,448 rapid damage assessments have already been completed. Over 900 businesses and homes have been declared uninhabitable, leaving many questioning whether Lismore will ever fully rebuild. The Premier is promising cash in hands.
We are not going to spare a dollar.
In remote areas, people are still being plucked from their homes. Fire and rescue crews finally getting into the isolated town of Corrikai for the first time today. Some angry about the lack of support, feeling they've been left to go at it alone. Now, there are a lot of people who are upset and angry. You've met them today and been on the ground. Can you understand why?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, this is devastating. It's a massive catastrophe.
Today it was the Hemsworths, Luke and Liam, who joined the effort. But there's a long way to go. Many still have no power. There's a shortage of fuel, food and water, and internet and communication services are down. At this local watering hole, the bottom floor is being gutted, but the owner is rushing to get the rooftop back up and running so people in town have somewhere to get a drink and something to eat.
We need somewhere to heal, come and share stories, come and console each other.
Hoping he can provide a pub for those who want help and shout around for Lismore. Sophie Upcroft, NBN News.
Coming up next, parts of Sydney's northwest still cut off by floodwaters. And glitter galore, Sydney ready to celebrate Mardi Gras.
It's the final week of Amart Furniture's mid-season sale. Save big on a huge range across living, dining, lounges, bedroom and mattresses in-store or online. So, what are you waiting for? Amart Furniture. Sale ends Tuesday.
It's value the Australian way at Coles, with Coles' finest sourdough Vienna. Stone-baked for a caramelised golden crust. And just $5.50 a loaf.
So good.
And only at Coles.
This is Australia. This is Australia.
Colorbond, made by Australia.
At Greater Bank, our home loan experts give customers greater advantages.
Like we visit you in your time and place. Our home loans have low rates and low fees, plus flexible repayment options.
To switch and save with us, you don't even have to talk to your current lender. Discover how we optimise home loans and why so many of our customers are ahead on theirs.
Talk with our home loan experts and gain your greater advantage with Greater Bank.
Australia's making positive energy. It's all part of our plan to reach net zero by 2050. We're investing billions in projects like hydrogen hubs, which means more jobs and less emissions, which are already down by 20%, helping us reach net zero by 2050. Authorised by the Australian Government, Canberra.
Bold.
Bold.
You did take the bins out, didn't you? Smooth.
Smooth. Bold Robusta and Smooth Arabica, roasted separately for the perfect blend of bold and smooth. Nescafe Blend 43.
At Domain, we want to help you make it yours with our amazing range of customisable Australian-made furniture and bedding. Choose from a range of sizes, fabrics, colours, timber stains and more to create your perfect piece. Make it bold, make it fit, make it yours. With our expertise to guide you every step of the way. So come in store, get inspired and start customising. We're ready. Make a statement, make it yours, now at Domain.
Whatever your claim, big or small, we're on to it. Yui, you insured.
Rising floodwater has cut off roads and divided families in Wiseman's Ferry, northwest of Sydney. The SES delivering urgent flood, fuel and medical supplies to homes. Meanwhile, in Brisbane, the Mud Army has swung into action.
Bringing everyone together, it's a good feeling, even though it's very sad and horrific.
You just see the devastation over the last few days and kind of feel lucky.
More than 13,000 people have registered to help with the clean-up. And as the clean-up intensifies in flood-ravaged states, Labor says the federal response could include financial firepower from a $5 billion disaster fund. The money has barely been touched since it was set aside in 2019. The government saying it will be used as a last resort.
Facing Queensland's flood destruction, the Emergency Management Minister promises $500 million in relief for the state is just the start.
We're going to be standing here for the long term.
Help for the current crisis won't come from one pot of money. The Emergency Response Fund was set up just before the Black Summer bushfires, but has barely been touched since then.
That $4.2 billion is not to be accessed unless we've exhausted all other avenues of funding.
It was meant to be used and clear commitments made.
It was largely intended for future disasters, with the exception of $200 million a year for emergency response and mitigation. Instead of spending that money, it's sitting there earning interest.
The whole point of the fund was that it wasn't a term deposit.
If elected, Labor is promising to revamp the fund using all $200 million a year on disaster resilience.
The funding is there, it needs to be used.
Accusing Labor of playing politics with the flood crisis, the minister says communities on the long road to recovery can count on more financial support.
Sydney is set to be the sparkliest place on earth tonight as the city glams up for the 44th Gay and Lesbian Mardi Gras Parade. Final rehearsals are underway as 5,000 performers prepare to march in front of a sold-out crowd. It's likely to be the parade's final year at the SCG, with a comeback to Oxford Street's glitter strip slated for 2023. It's time for sport now with Kate Haberfield, and I think we're all still coming to terms with it. Such a sad day for Australian sport, Kate.
It sure is, Jane, and the loss of Shane Warne's being felt right around the world, including in Pakistan, where our cricketers are right now. We will check in with them after the break as Australia and Pakistan pay tribute to the Spin King. And the Jets grounded in Ballarat.
They say change is as good as a holiday, so take a vacation from paying full price at the Plush Summer Savings Sale. Get up to 50% off when you buy 2 or more items. 100% made for you. Hurry, ends Monday.
Every little bit of cricket is worth protecting, whether you're setting up, fueling up or cleaning up. However you enjoy the game we love, let's keep protecting it with Dettol. Bat, bowl, Dettol.
What is money for? If not for the place you call home, or your very own business.
We can help with whatever matters most. NAB, more than money.
Sultana brand. High in fibre so families can get up and go and take on every full-on day. Sultana brand. Full-on days start with full-on fibre. Now available in gluten-free.
Did someone say KFC?
I don't care. I love it.
Can care be better at home?
Someone from Medibank mentioned that there's a chance I can do rehab at home.
I said, oh, how much extra is that going to cost?
And they said, no, you've got it in your hospital cover. It just was fantastic for me.
Terry White Chemmart is now administering all COVID-19 vaccines nationally. Book your vaccine of choice today to help us get back to the things we miss and love. Terry White Chemmart, that's real chemistry.
Refresh your home now at Harvey Norman. Choose Australian-made value in the Berwick 3.5-seater fabric sofa with reversible chaise plus 2-seater and ottoman, all for just $2,699. Relax and recline with the Wolgan 3-seater fabric sofa, $2,799, featuring powered recliners, headrests and console. Update to a sleek, modern look with the Renee 7-piece dining suite. Great value at $1,399. More great deals for your home now at Harvey Norman.
If you could see the Wi-Fi from your modem, it might look like this. But with the new Telstra Smart Modem 3, it would look more like this. Its advanced technology gives you access to more speed, on more devices, in more corners of the home. The new Telstra Smart Modem 3, included for use with all our home internet plans.
Shane Warne's passing has rocked cricket around the world, including in Pakistan, where Australia's team learned of the news shortly after day one of the first test. On the morning of day two, both teams paid tribute to the spin icon before play resumed and the hosts took further control of the match.
These stars started out as fans. Today, they honoured one of their heroes. Shane Warne gone, but the game remains and must go on.
Thank you.
Imam Al-Haq scored his first Test century yesterday, but took a while to get his eye in today.
Oh, that's taken off.
The opener needing attention after being struck by a Pat Cummins bouncer. It was Azhar Ali at the other end, keeping the runs flowing.
He's got that away superbly. That's out of the middle. That takes him to 90 now.
Chances were few and far between for Australia.
Oh, here we go. There's a big noise on that time.
There was a spike on Ultra Edge, but Cummins chose not to review, leaving Al-Haq to move beyond 150.
Well, that's a good shot. Get onto the back foot, top of the bounce, big gap out there as well.
Pakistan won for 302 at lunch, what the Aussies would give for a wicket taker like Warne right now. Luke Dufficy, NBN News.
Australia's women also paid tribute to Shane Warne with a minute's silence before their World Cup opener. The Aussies set England a target of 311 after Rachel Haynes posted the second ODI ton of her career, 130 off 131 balls. England still need 109 runs from 77 balls. The Mariners are leading Brisbane Roar 2-1 in the A-League Men's at Central Coast Stadium. The Newcastle Jets travelled to Ballarat this afternoon to face Western United. It was the Victorians with the breakthrough early in the first half when Leo Lacroix headed one past Jack Duncan. The Swiss defender was back at it again in the second half to give his side a 2-0 lead. Angus Thurgate scored his fourth goal of the season to keep Newcastle in the contest.
Newcastle have got one back. They scramble it across the line.
The Jets came close to equalising but fell short. After the break, can the Aussies keep their Davis Cup hopes alive?
By taking this oath, you hereby pledge to help everyone, everywhere, make their job easy. What say you?
Can oath.
Host Plus gives you control over how your super is invested, thanks to our wide range of investment options. Feeling on top of your super? That's a plus.
Why is cornflakes my perfect bowl?
Because it brightens my day.
That reminds me of my absolutely gorgeous mama. Everything is better shared, especially cornflakes.
Nice moustache.
Nice moustache too.
Whether it's for work or play, you'll find it at Officeworks. Like this Lenovo ultra-wide 29-inch monitor, just $377. And this EcoTank wireless inkjet printer, only $399. Great products, always low prices at Officeworks.
Wondering when you can put your pants back on? That's common. Putting on a brave face during physio?
How's that feel?
That's common. Insurance that puts people before profit? That's uncommon. At HCF, we're freezing health fund rates until November 1st, 2022. Join Australia's largest not-for-profit health fund today. HCF. Uncommon care.
At Santos, we're proud to support Australian communities. We provide local jobs for the same towns who've helped us become the cleaner fuels company we are today.
Santos is proudly made in Australia, but it's Australia that's made us.
I'll be back in a tick.
So, how many weeks home? 13. But shh, I haven't told Dad yet. Dad, how did you know?
Have you heard of Amplifon?
Amplifon has been helping people rediscover their hearing for over 70 years with personalised solutions using the latest testing technology and a lifetime of care. Take the first step to better hearing with a free hearing check and enjoy our exclusive Hearing Month offers at unmissable prices until March 31. Call 13MyEars to book an appointment today.
Oreo, stay playful.
Looking for an energy deal you don't have to sweat? Done. Switch to Energy Australia's Total Plan and get 20% off the electricity reference price. Plus, go carbon neutral at home for no extra cost. Find out more today.
They say change is as good as a holiday. So take a vacation from paying full price at the Plush Summer Savings Sale. Get up to 50% off when you buy 2 or more items. 100% made for you. Sale on now.
Australia's Davis Cup hopes rest with Thanasi Kokkinakis, who's on court right now against Hungary. Alex de Minaur kept the Aussies alive with victory over Martin Fucsovics. He levelled the tie at 2-2 after John Peers and Luke Saville lost the doubles. Two Australians have clashed on the opening day of the MotoGP season. Jack Miller was furious after rookie Remy Gardner impeded him on a flying lap in practice at the Qatar Grand Prix. The pair eventually cleared the air in the pits, Miller putting down the 6th fastest time of the day. Gardner was 21st. Anton De Pasquale will start from pole in tonight's season-opening supercars race at Sydney Motorsport Park. The Shell V-Power driver was fastest in qualifying before taking out the top 10 shootout ahead of reigning champ Shane van Gisbergen. Newcastle's Tom Heyman has taken out 2 races of the Aussie racing cars at Sydney Motorsport Park. Starting from the front row, Heyman got off to the perfect start in race 2, leaving Cody Beskowitz in his wake. He led from go to woe to take out his first race win of the season by more than 6 seconds. Heyman's luck then continued in race 3, coming out strong from 10th position to claim his 2nd win. All 3 Merewether surfers are through to the round of 32 at the Portugal Pro. With Jackson Baker safely through, Morgan Sibilic and Ryan Callanan went head-to-head in their opening heat. But Miguel Pupo outsurfed both of them, with Sibilic finishing 2nd and Callanan sent to the elimination round. He posted 2 good scores in that round to see off Leonardo Fioravanti and David Silva. The injury-depleted Jets women went down to Brisbane 5-1 last night. With just 2 outfield players on the bench, Newcastle struggled from the outset, the Roar scoring 2 goals in the first half, including one to former Jet Larissa Crummer. She scored another 2 in the second half to record a hat-trick before Lauren Allen pegged one back for Newcastle.
She grabbed one back for Newcastle, of course she can. So much endeavour and speed from Lauren Allen.
An eye strike from Holly Palmer sealed the win for the Roar. Round 2 of the NRLW gets underway in Wollongong tomorrow, and for the Knights, the match doesn't get any tougher. The Red and Blue is set to take on the defending champions.
For Tallulah Tillett, setting up her housemate for a try was a memorable way to begin her NRLW career.
Tillett now, just held up the pass beautifully.
Yeah, that was pretty special to put her over the line there, especially the first try for the Newcastle Knights. So, yeah, that was a pretty special moment to share with her.
The pair, both from Queensland, will face the might of Brisbane tomorrow when the Knights take on the 3-time premiership winners.
Obviously, know quite a few of the girls in that team and actually played a bit of touch footy with some of them as well. But at the end of the day, once we run out onto the field, you're not sort of friends with anyone.
Newcastle has been forced into a reshuffle with Phoebe Desmond out with COVID and Caitlin Johnston sidelined for a few weeks with an elbow injury.
She's gone through a torrid time with the NRLW. Whenever it seems to be NRLW season, she's unfortunately found an injury, which is devastating for her.
The Broncos started their season with a 20-4 demolition of the Roosters. Until it knows she'll have to take more control of the game to help match it with Brisbane.
We made a couple of unforced errors there at crucial moments, and I think just making sure that we can complete our sets and make sure that we're getting in good field position as well.
In what will be just their second outing in the NRLW, the Knights coach has every faith in his squad.
I think they play similar structures to us, and the reality is for us, we've just got to try and match it and take it to them, which I've got full confidence in our squad that we can do that.
And you can catch all 3 games right here tomorrow.
Nice one, thanks Kate. More heavy rain ahead, we'll check weather next.
Every homeowner's great idea needs a tradie to make it real. And they come together on High Pages, behind every great home.
Are you indecisive? Try choosing between the ooh yes of a Domino's vanilla custard puff roll and the yeah baby of a pepperoni puff roll. You can puff your meal with both for $6.95 at Domino's.
Dairy Farmers Classic Chocolate Milk, classically smooth.
Welcome to the best exotic animal show in these United States.
This is who we've been after. Joe Exotic. We're coming for you.
You have no idea what I'm willing to do for my animals.
So it's war. It's war. He shot me 3 times. He shot you? Technically, it was a blow-up doll of me.
We're ready to roll.
The brand new series Joe vs. Carol, now streaming only on Stan.
Well, there he is. Superfood, super salmon, fresh and full of omega-3, protein and also super good looking. Now only $10.99 a 4-pack. Okay, that's just showing off. Aldi, good, different.
The Nick Scali Autumn Sale is on now. Shop and save up to 40% off a huge range of living, dining and bedroom furniture. The Nick Scali Autumn Sale. In store and online now.
It's Kitchen and Laundry Month at Bingley.
Here's another fresh idea.
A bonus Woolworths Supermarket e-gift card worth up to $400 with selected kitchen and laundry appliances.
Right now at Bingley.
Domain has the sleep solution for everybody and every budget. Our wide range features the best bedding brands and the latest sleep technology. Mattresses and ensembles designed for individual support and personalised comfort. Solutions for hot sleepers. Clever storage ideas to save on space and adjustable bases for healthy bodies and relaxed lifestyles. Our specialised team can help you find your perfect night's sleep. It's all part of the Domain experience. See the difference for yourself at Domain.
Nice to see some sunshine this morning before the cloud cover returned. There's still a minor to moderate flood warning for the Wallumbye Brook and the Hunter River at Raymond Terrace, with more heavy rain to come tomorrow and on Monday. There's also a hazardous surf warning current for the Hunter's Central Coast and North Coast. This shot from Mark in Byron titled "Frothin' at the Pass." The ocean looking more like a washing machine at the moment. Let's head to the satellite. Cloud with a trough over the east coast is producing more showers. Thick cloud over central New South Wales, Victoria and and Tasmania, where the front is triggering showers and storms. On the synoptic chart tomorrow, a trough lingering off the New South Wales coast will bring more heavy rain and scattered storms to southeast Queensland and eastern New South Wales. Troughs over the top end and far north Queensland will generate showers and storms. Partly cloudy and humid today with showers this evening and a possible thunderstorm with damaging winds and heavy falls predicted for tonight. 26 for Newcastle, 27 for Nelson Bay, hitting 30 degrees in Scone today. Tomorrow, cloudy with a very high chance of showers and a thunderstorm, possible heavy falls, which may lead to flash flooding in the afternoon and evening on already sodden ground. Can you believe it? More heavy rain, 25 for Newcastle, 27 for Maitland and 25 for Muswellbrook tomorrow. Coastal waters information sees it 1.5 metres with a 2.5 metre swell. Northerly winds turning south-southeasterly and then east-southeasterly. The sun to rise at 6:45 and set at 7:24. And the outlook for Newcastle, Monday cloudy with damaging winds and heavy rain possible, which may lead to flash flooding. 35 millimetres tomorrow, another possible 60 millimetres for Monday and Tuesday. For the Upper Hunter, now this is a worry. You can see a possible 80 millimetres tomorrow, another 60 on Monday, 35 for Tuesday. And for Gosford, keep the gumboots and brollies handy, a possible 45 millimetres on the way tomorrow and another 80 on Monday. And that is NBN News for this Saturday. Deb Knight is next with a 1-hour Shane Warne special on a current affair. But for now, enjoy your evening. Good night.